All the praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Yahweh is the name of the one true living God, the God of our ancestors, so-called black people, the Native American Indians, Hispanics, and Latinas, the indigenous people of the North, Central, and South America. We're the Hebrew Israelites, and Yahweh is the name of our one true God, the God of our ancestors. The God of our ancestors, right? And Yahweh Shai is the name of the one who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who is a so-called black man, according to the KJV Bible. I give double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth that I know through the spirit and inspiration of Yahweh Bashem Mahushai. And I salute all the brothers and believing sisters that's in this truth and sincerity and in continual diligence. Right? News report, right? I believe it happened on Saturday evening, if I'm not mistaken. But this is you can see it.
City threatened by a massive volcanic eruption has been spared. They say molten lava that was streaming toward Goma came to a stop just a few hundred meters from the city limits. Authorities had urged Goma's 2 million residents to evacuate after Mount Nyiragongo erupted for the first time in almost 2 decades. But many accused them of responding too late after thousands had already fled into neighboring Rwanda.
The flowing lava made this road impassable. When Mount Nyiragongo erupted Saturday evening, people quickly packed some belongings and fled. There were widespread power outages in the nearby city of Goma. Residents were unsure of where to find a safe haven. Now we don't know what we are going to do. Since we first saw the eruption this evening, people immediately started to panic. We, the children of Goma, don't know what it will be like. We've never seen anything like this before. We study the volcano. People talk about it a lot, but really, we've never seen it. Never. We're all shaking. Mount Nyiragongo is in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, close to the border with Rwanda. It's considered one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes. Its last eruption in 2002 killed 250 people.
Our people, man. Our people is in Congo. They're also Israelites.
As lava approached Goma's airport on the eastern edge of the city,
you see our people?
urged residents to evacuate.
See what the Most High is doing?
Fractures opening in the volcano allowed lava to flow south toward the city center.
You see that?
Let's bring in journalist Reagan Manaweka. He's in Goma. Reagan, welcome. The military has announced that the city of Goma has been spared. Can you confirm that? And does that mean that you are now safe where you are?
The city of Goma.
At this moment, yes, we are a little bit
That's
safe,
where the lava came
but
towards.
the situation can change because some people who went in the western parts or even in Rwanda are coming back here in Goma because it's now 4 or 5 hours. There is no movement of magma toward Goma.
You spoke to people who were forced to leave their homes. What did they tell you?
It's really, they are frustrated. They're shifting from their home.
Yeah, they're
they
frustrated.
don't know if they're gonna return seeing or coming back and see the property, their house, even people. They were really frustrated. They didn't understand what was going on. They were just shifting. They were just going. There was no communication. It's just frustration at this time. At this time, they're just coming back, as I said before.
We did see masses of people crossing the border into Rwanda. What happens to them when they get there?
They went in Rwanda. The borders have been opened in the evening time. They've been there. They've been welcomed. They have been some habits and houses. Some of them are coming back at this time, but they've shifted in Rwanda. Now they're coming back.
Right, Reagan Manaweka and Goma, thank you very much.
Thank you, too.
Right, so you saw that, right? So you saw that. And you had that little Edomite, well, I don't know what she was, but she looked like an Edomite, news reporter acting like she cares. She don't care. She just doing her job. And Edomites, Esau's laughing at us. Esau don't care about these other nations. They don't care about what's happened to Jake. But if you saw that guy, hold on.
Did you know every time you shop on Amazon, you have
If you saw that Jake that was they chose him to talk about what was going on, that Jake that you just saw, the Israelite brother that you just saw, I mean, he probably don't know he's an Israelite, Congolese, but there are people down there in Congo, they're Israelites, all right? They're either from Judah, Benjamin, or Levi. Because you see our people, the majority of our people that's in the African countries, the Bantus, that's Judah, Benjamin, or Levi. That's only coming from one of the three tribes, because only those three tribes migrated into the Africas prior and due to 70 AD. As a cause and effect of 70 AD, the destruction of Jerusalem because of the Roman legions, how they destroyed the temple, and prior to that also, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi migrated into the Africas. The other tribes, they migrated to the Americas after the Assyrian captivity. But anyway, if you saw what's going on, he's basically saying that, obviously, from what you saw, there's a lot of confusion because of this volcanic eruption. The name of the hold on, if I can bring it up. The name of the volcano is Nyiragongo, which is actually found in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the lava came to a city there called Goma, and obviously all the people there, well, the vast majority of the people there, they evacuated and fled into the wilderness and fled to Rwanda, right? But if you saw, that's a frustrating time for our people, and I just want to bring this out. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. So the field represents the world. When you go to Matthew chapter 13, it actually tells you that verbatim. If I can get it real quick, just for edification's sake. This is Matthew chapter 13, verse 38, right? The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which is us. We're the good seed. We're the Israelites, right? And but the tares are the children of the wicked one, which is Esau, the red man, the so-called white man. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field, right? Because we refused to hearken to the laws and commandments and statutes that the Most High gave to us at Mount Sinai thousands of years ago by the hand of Moses. These were customs, a heritage that our God gave to us as a people. And if you see over there in Congo, which I'm going to go into, our people over there in Congo, they're not following the laws and statutes and commandments. And this is why all these evils is cut. The Most High is bringing these evils upon us as a nation. Now, this is, because remember it said, cursed shall I be in the city, right? So this is Amos. This is Amos, if I can get it real quick. Amos chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 6. Shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it? You see? So evil happened in the city of Goma in Congo, and the Most High have done it. The Most High brings evil. He can send evil angels, evil spirits. Right? This is Psalms 70. Bear with me for a sec, just getting these pages right. 78 verse 49. Let me start from this is verse 47. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. Let me start from verse 43. How he had wrought his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods that they could not drink. He sent divers sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust, right? He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts, right? He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble, by sending evil angels among them. And what are angels? Spirits. Do you understand? So let me read that again. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble. So what's going on there in Goma to our people over there that's migrated to Rwanda? They're experiencing trouble, wrath, anger, right? Because the Most High is bringing evils upon our people there, which means that our people, they are not innocent. As troublesome as it may seem, and as dire their situation may appear, just know that no one perishes ever being innocent. Let me get that. This is Job. This is Job chapter 4, verse 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? See, whoever's been cut off and died and received death by the Most High, that person is not righteous. Nobody's righteous. Even Yahweh Shai said, I'm not good. Only the Father in heaven is good. So it said, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent. You see, children, pregnant women, little maids, the elderly, the young, nobody's innocent. So we're all worthy of death, man. And I'm speaking unto you brothers and sisters that are spiritual minded, man. Do you understand? So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Curses shall thou be in the city, and curses shall thou be in the field. So the Most High will bring curses upon our people. So you see a lot of these volcanic eruptions. Obviously, there's different volcanoes around the world. Like, I believe there's a volcanic eruption that's happening right now in Iceland. I saw it live on YouTube. Bear me for 1 sec. Volcanic eruption, Iceland is live. Then I've got to wait for this little skip ads. There's actually a live, because they do little live streams where they're showing like there's a volcanic eruption going on right now in Iceland. You know, there's a volcano there that's quite active there. So this is one of the many signs that the Most High is bringing on the earth to signify the end of this time. You know, this is a sign that's showing forth the parting asunder of the times. You know, the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth. You know, right? So that's going on in Iceland. And the volcano that erupted in Congo happened on Saturday, I believe. Right? There's different live. They're doing it from different angles. Let me see if I can get a good one. No, it's a bit distant. Don't know if you can see that one. This light is right there. You know? But yeah, so you got different volcanoes that are erupting around the planet Earth, right? And it's the Most High that's doing these things, because that's part of the signs that the Bible forewarned of, right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 19. And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, right? Blood and fire and vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Lord. Right. So let me read that again. And I will show wonders in heaven above, verse 19, and signs in the earth beneath. Right. So there's signs in the heaven above, UFO sightings. You know how many so-called, that's what the white man calls it. He calls it UFOs, but we know them to be the chariots of our God. Right? Those are the vehicles of our salvation. Those are the angels, not little green, big-eyed Martians from outer space, as Esau likes to depict them in his movies. These are the powerful angels. And that's how we're going to be saved. The scripture says that when Yahweh comes back, he's going to come back with power and great glory and send them clouds, some chariots to the four corners of the earth to gather his elect from the four winds. Do you understand? So these are signs too. Signs in the heaven above, right? Signs in the moon, blood moon, pink moon, micro moons, super moons. A moon so big, it looks like it's just coming towards planet Earth. Right? And then it said, and signs in the earth beneath. Blood and fire and vapor of smoke. Blood. You see what's going over there in Israel. Israeli look like they want to wipe out the Palestinians. They want to exterminate them. The Palestinians calling for a ceasefire, and Israeli, they don't give a shit. They're killing off their kids. They're bombing hospitals. I think I heard word say they bombed a water factory where they produce water or something like that. They don't care. They're bombing their residency, their houses, their buildings. Do you understand? So blood and fire and vapor of smoke, talking about volcanic eruptions happening in St. Vincent, Guatemala, Iceland, Congo. This one, I believe the Philippines or Indonesia, something like that. You know, that's right. The sun shall be turned into darkness. What's that talking about? Solar eclipse. Solar eclipses, man. Where people, you see them in America, they all come together to witness the great solar eclipse. And they're all happy and making merry at a solar eclipse, not realizing that that's a sign from the Most High to indicate the end of their time. But they're there all like it's a great sign. The scriptures talk about how the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. It says, let me get that. This is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Who are the Israelites? Our people over there in Congo, Nigeria, the West Africans, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. You feel me? Angola. You see, Ghana, Ivory Coast. These are our people. Mali, Guinea. Yeah? It says, hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, Jamaica, the Caribbean islands, or people in Brazil, scattered to the four corners. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, because we have our own ways. We're not going to drink waters out of our own cistern. We're not going to give our glory and honor unto another. right? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. You see, learn ways of the heathens worshipping our ancestors, worshipping the white man in these churches. Those are not our ways. These are the ways which the other nations have. And if you see over there in Congo, our people over there, Christianity is like the biggest religion over there. Roman Catholicism, so forth and so on, right? But let me get into that, right? Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. That's right. The other nations are dismayed at the signs of heaven. But we, the prophets, are letting you know that these very same occurrences that's happening around the planet Earth, these are all signs that the Most High forewarned of within the Holy Scriptures. So women not be meant to be dismayed, neither fear. And if our people understood the judgment of the Most High, they would understand that it's the Most High that's bringing this volcanic eruption for the wickedness of their ways. Do you understand? Right. So let's go to Joel, because what we just read there in Acts about blood, fire, and vapor of smoke, that was something that issued from the prophecy of Joel. This is the Joel chapter 2, verse 30. And I will show, in fact, let me start for verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons shall and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Right? Because in these last days, you got our people, brothers in this truth, right? And you even had individuals from other nations dreaming dreams about our Lord coming back. The one who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ as being a black man, coming back with power and great glory and bringing destruction upon so-called white people, man. You got so-called white people coming out now and boldly saying that the Messiah of the Bible is a so-called black man. You got brothers within this truth dreaming dreams of the elect being delivered. So this is the Most High pouring his spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters prophesying, right? This is verse 30. And verse 29. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. So volcanic eruptions are one of the major signs within the Bible that indicate the ending of the first heavens and first earth, and the beginning of the one to come, which we, the believers, we, the Israelites, will be made the rulers of, man. This is why our people need to repent. Our people need to come back unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, right? And just really reform themselves and pattern themselves in the way of the scriptures, the way of their ancient ancestors. Okay, so it says, verse 31, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood, right? Blood moons, pinky moons, look it up. Before the great and terrible day of Yahweh come. Man, I'm telling you, if you see these things, is an indicator that we're literally at the door. So it says, Matthew 24, verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. What is a parable? A dark saying. Something that in needs must be interpreted. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. For likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words will not pass away. That's a promise, man. That's a 100% confirmed statement. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but these words that we're reading, these words will not pass away. These are serious. This is not a game. This is serious business, right? This is serious business. What does it say? Because this is words of prophecy now. This is Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people. Who's the Lord's people? Our people over there in Congo. You so-called black people. You so-called indigenous people of North, Central, and South America. And anybody who descends from those people on their father's side. You are the Lord's chosen people. So it says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth. Because the Most High set up men to teach this word, to prophesy. Okay? Saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. These are true words. These words of prophecy is real. Okay? So let's go back to Genesis, Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Curses shall thou be in the city, and curses shall thou be in the field. As we just went into. Okay? The Most High has cursed our people, even as far as the Democratic Republic of Congo. Right? And curses shall thou be in the field. Curses shall be thy basket and thy store. Curses shall be the fruit of thy body. Right? Because the guy was complaining how because they have to evacuate that city of Goma, he's worried about the majority of the people there that have migrated out of that city. They don't know when they're gonna come back to their houses, to their land, to see their loved ones, to see their stores, their businesses. So it says, curses shall be thy basket and thy store. Curses shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. Right? The increase of thy kin and the flocks of thy sheep. So now this disturbance has happened. Everything's gone out of whack now. People don't know if they're going to return back to their businesses. They probably got sheep or livestock that they're going to have to forsake. Right? Curses shall thou be when thou comest in, and curses shall thou be when thou goest out. Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Point blank period, man. Because thou hast forsaken me. So the Lord, that's something you find about the Most High. He can be very spiteful, he can be very malicious, but in all that he does is righteous because it all comes from him. You see? Because thou hast forsaken me. That's why the Lord has done all these things, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 3. This is verse 3. O Yahweh, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Most has stricken our people, but they've not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. So even though the Most High is correcting them, rebuking them, and chastising them, and consuming them, our people are refusing to return back. They continue on in their wickedness. See, if we was to stand out there, if I was to stand out there in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Goma and prophesy to them, a lot of them would probably walk past me and ignore me. They'll probably just ignore me and just take what I'm saying lightly until that volcano erupts. Do you understand? Right. So this is Job chapter 12, verse 21. He, talk about the Most High, poureth contempt upon princes and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth deep things out of darkness and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations. He destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations and straighteneth them again. Right? He straighteneth them again. Hold on. Let me get this. Job. I'm gonna go into that word straighteneth, man. 12 23. Right? And straighteneth. Let me look at the word straighteneth. To lead, guide, to lead, bring, to lead, guide. But I don't think that's, because when you look at the word straighten, yeah, the word straight means a narrow passage of water connecting two seas or two other large areas of water. Let me see this definition. Yeah. Used in reference to a situation characterized by a specified degree of trouble or difficulty. For example, the economy is in dire straits. Right, so that's that's what should be there. Of a place of limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped. The road was so straight that a handful of men might have defended it. Right. I'm looking up to this. What does straight mean? A situation of perplexity or distress, often used in plural to dire straits. Right. That's right. So let me read that again. Job 12 verse 23. He increaseth the nations and destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations and straighteneth them again. Right. And one of the definitions there was perplexity. And that on the first thing I'm thinking is this: Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves roaring. The sea and the waves represent the people. You know, uproars of the people, protesting, rioting, clashing with the citizens and the police in riot gear. All this is happening, right? People are evacuating their cities and towns because of volcanic eruptions, snowstorms, and other harsh weather conditions, flooding. So it's a perplexity. When you look at the word perplexity, it means confusion, right? Distress. It says, and upon the earth, distress of nations. What did we read before? In Job 12 and 23, he increaseth the nations and destroyeth them. He enlargeth nations and straighteneth them again. And this shows that the Most High deals with nations. He doesn't deal with, he doesn't judge people like, oh, you know how you got Edomites that come up and say, oh, what about me? I'm a good little white man. You know, well, we told them, listen, the Most High judges nations. He jacks up nations, you know? So let me read on from Job 12 and 24 now. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth. The heart talk about their mind, your sanity, man. And causeth them to wander in the wilderness where there is no way. What are people in Congo doing? They're wandering in the wilderness. They had to evacuate. They have got to go to Rwanda now. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. That's what's happening. You saw the crowds of our people, the thousands of our people down there in Congo that had taken their belongings, okay, moving with urgency, almost like they're exiting Egypt, man. Almost like they're exiting the Exodus, you know? But this is all because of the wickedness of our people, man. Right? But yeah, this one last thing. this is Second Ezra 15, verse 2, and cause them to be written and payable, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. The word incredulity means unbelief. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Right. So it says death and destruction. Right. So according to the news report, there's no deaths being reported, but just as you saw. So this is Ecclesiasticus 39, right? Verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them, which is the Most High. Excuse me. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, man. You see? Fire, the spirit of fire, volcanic eruptions. The Most High has put the spirit upon volcanoes to erupt, to bring distress upon our people over there in the African country there, Congo. Right? This is 40, Sirach 40, verse 9. Death and bloodshed, strife and the sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things were created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. That's right. That's right. So our people are wicked over there. Because what's going over there? Because what's the main religion? Let's look at the religion in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Excuse my words. I'm not so good with my English, even though I was born here, funnily enough. Christianity is the majority religion in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. As of 2018, the US State Department reported that roughly 96% of the population are members of Christian denominations, of which nearly half are Roman Catholic, which is, we know Roman Catholic, that's like the worshipping of Esau. That's pretty much white supremacist Christianity. That's Edomite supremacist religion. So our people are out there worshipping the devil. Okay, because the scripture says the gods of the idols, the idols of the nations, of the heathens, excuse me, bear me for a sec. The gods of the nations are idols. I believe that's in if I can get it real quick, if I can find it. I think it's in 1 Corinthians. Yeah. This is 1 Corinthians 10, verse 18. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar? What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to the Most High. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. So the idols of the heathens are devils. And the heathens don't colonized Congo. And that's why a lot of our people down there, they speak French, I believe. Right? Because you had a lot of nations down there that tried to put their hand in Congo, because Congo produces a metal, a mineral that's very, very valuable. I forget the name of the metal, but it's used to make phones. I forget the name of that metal, right? But Japan, China, and they're big in the manufacturing of phones. You see, Samsung, Galaxies, Android phones, Nokia, all kind of phones. a lot of it used by the minerals used in the Democratic Republic of Congo, man. Do you understand? So, you know what I mean? And so they went over there, these heathens, Edomites mainly, went over there and they did a lot of slaughtering of our people. If you look at the history of Congo, I believe the man's name was King Leopold the second or the third or something like that. And according to the facts, that he never even been to Congo. It was his henchmen that went down there and started cutting off the hands of our people in Congo, right? If I can just history. Leopold images. Yeah, this guy here. This guy here, King Leopold III, he never even been to Congo. This Edomite devil here. And I believe during the time of the Black Lives Matter protesting, because the Black Lives Matter protesting went global. And I think the ones down there in I believe is Belgium, right? Yeah, King Leopold II, excuse me, of Belgium. He never even been to Congo, man. He never even been there. Leopold II, born 9th of April 1835 and died 17th December 1909, was the second king of the Belgians from 1865 to 1909, and through his own efforts, the owner of absolute ruler and an absolute ruler of the Congo Free State from 1885 to 1908. What a motherfucker. Born in Brussels, right? I want to get to some real. Right, Leopold was the founder and sole owner of the Congo Free State, a private project undertaken on his own behalf. He used Henry Morton Stanley to help him lay claim to the Congo, the present-day Democratic Republic of the Congo. Right? At the Berlin Conference of 1884, 1885, right, 1884 to 1885, the colonial nations of Europe authorized his claim by committing the Congo Free State to improving the lives of the native inhabitants. Did they improve their lives? Leopold ignored these conditions and ran the Congo using the mercenary force public for his personal gain. He extracted a fortune from the territory initially by the collection of ivory, and after a rise in the price of natural rubber in the 1890s, by forced labor from the native population to harvest and process rubber. Leopold's administration of the Congo Free State was characterized by atrocities, including torture and murder, resulting from notorious systematic brutality of our people. And the Most High sent a nation from far, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue we should not understand, didn't show no favor to the young or favor to the old, right? As part of the curses. In fact, let me get that real quick. Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Right? So the Most High will send our enemies against us, and we will go to him for the want of all things. And he will put a yoke of iron upon our neck. That's the transatlantic slave trade. But also represents slavery. Like when you put a leash on a dog's neck, that shows you that that dog has an owner. So we were owned by our enemies. Verse 49, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Right. Because we didn't understand Dutch, we didn't understand French, we didn't understand English. When these Edomite men came to us to colonize us, to enslave us, we didn't understand those languages. And it says as swift as the eagle flieth. This is how we know this is Esau, because Esau, the so-called white man's animalistic symbol, has always been the eagle. Rome, Greece, America, Germany, so forth and so on, right? A nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young, right? And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, right? So they pretty much took over. They took over Congo, right? Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kin, or the flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. Okay? So they showed no mercy, right? So let me go back to the article, including torture and murder resulting from notorious systematic brutality. In 1890, George Washington Williams coined the term crimes against humanity to describe the practices of Leopold II of Belgium's administration of the Congo Free State. The hands of men, women, and children were amputated when the quota of rubber was not met, and millions of the Congolese people died. So it's not just slave trade, because millions of our people died of the slave trade and slavery and post-slavery. But you're not even including what happened, the atrocities of Congo and so forth and so on, right? Colonial accounts typically emphasize Leopold's modernizing changes in the Congo and not the mass death he facilitated. Yeah. These are other facts were established at the time by eyewitness testimony, on-site inspection by an international commission of inquiry, and the 1904 casement report. Modern estimates range from 1 million to 15 million deaths, with a consensus growing around 10 million. Some historians argue against these figures, citing the lack of reliable censuses, the enormous mortality caused by smallpox and African trypanosomiasis, and the fact that there were only 175 administrative agents in charge of rubber exploitation. In 1908, the reports of deaths and abuse and pressure from the Congo Reform Association and other international groups induced the Belgian government to take over the administration of the Congo from Leopold as a new territory, Belgian Congo. But yeah, so that's what's happened, right? That's our people over there in Congo, right? But does the Most High consider our people as being innocent? No. My thoughts are not your thoughts. That's Isaiah 55. So you have to understand that it's because we haven't turned back onto our God, our Maker. This is why all these things are still happening to us. Even though the Most High is consumed us, we have still not received correction. I read that to you before in Jeremiah 5 verse 3. O Yahweh, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They refused to return. Right, because the Most High is eyes upon the truth. He wants us to worship him in spirit and in truth. Our people are not worshiping him in spirit and in truth. Like I already told you, we got a lot of our people. Hold on. Damn, that's not the one. Shit, oh man. Hold on. Bear me for 1 sec. Congo religion. Hold on. Yeah. No. Hold on. Bear me for 1 sec. come on, man. Hold on. Wikipedia, excuse me. Right. Yep. Right. So, as I was reading before, Christianity is the majority. This is Wikipedia, right? Christianity is the majority religion in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I can't speak fast. As of 2018, the U.S. State Department reported that roughly 96% of the population are members of Christian denominations, of which nearly half are Roman Catholic. Nearly half are Protestant, with a small number of Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, and Greek Orthodox, with the remaining less than 5% following other non-Christian religions. Muslims, Baha'is, Jews, and indigenous religions. Right? Traditional religions embody such concepts as monotheism, animism, vitalism, spirit and ancestor worship, witchcraft, and sorcery, and vary widely among ethnic groups. Why does it say like that? Basically, a lot of our people are into worshipping their ancestors and witchcraft and sorceries. Excuse me. The syncretic sects often merge Christianity with traditional beliefs and rituals and may not be accepted by mainstream churches as part of Christianity. Let's stop there. Yeah. So that's right. So that's what's happening. And this is why our people are getting jacked up, man. Our people are getting jacked up. This is Exodus 23 verse 13, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Right? Scripture says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 20 verse 1, and the Most High, or God, spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right. That's right. So our people are into all type of idolatries, man. This is bear me for a sec. So this is Ezekiel 16 and 24. Verse 23, and it came to pass after all thy wickedness, woe, woe unto thee, saith Yahweh God, that thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and hast made thee an high place in every street. Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to every one that passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms. Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians, thy neighbors, great of flesh, and hast increased thy whoredoms to provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore, I have stretched out my hand over thee, and have diminished thine ordinary food, and delivered thee unto the will of them that hate thee, the daughters of the Philistines, which are ashamed of thy lewd way. Thou hast played the whore also with the Assyrians, because thou was unsatiable. Yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet couldst not be satisfied. You know what I mean? Wow. Verse 30, how weak is thine heart, saith Yahweh God, seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman, and that thou buildest thine eminent place in the head of every way, and makest thine high place in every street, and hast not been And has not been as an harlot in that thou scornest hire, but as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband. You know what I mean? So that's our people over there in Congo, and that's why what's happening to them is happening to them. And it's gonna get worse, man. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. These are just the beginning of evils. They're gonna keep growing. And yeah, that's pretty much. I just wanted to do this video on this little news report and our people over there in Congo. Okay, with that, Shalom.